More than 900 million international tourists traveled last year, and UNWTO forecasts 1.6 billion tourists by the year 2020. In order to minimize the negative impacts of this growth and harness the power to help make positive change in the world, the Global Sustainable Tourism Council was established. It is a global membership-based organization dedicated to promoting sustainable tourism practices around the world. Representing a diverse global membership, including UN agencies, academia, government, leading travel companies, hotels, country tourism boards, and tour operators. Housed at the United Nations Foundation, the Global Sustainable Tourism Council serves as an international body for promoting the increased knowledge, understanding, and adoption of sustainable tourism practices. At the heart of this work are the Global Sustainable Tourism Criteria, the minimum requirements that any tourism business should aspire to reach in order to protect and sustain the world's natural and cultural resources while ensuring tourism meets its potential as a tool for conservation, poverty alleviation, and economic growth. More than 170 U.S. cities have already adopted the criteria, including San Francisco, Miami, Florida, Los Angeles, and various international cities. With me today is my friend Erica Harms, who's the Executive Director of the Global Sustainable Tourism Council. Give me a few cities of international ones that have joined.
So the most recent one, and where we're going to host our annual event, is the city of Barcelona. But we started, the first program that was implemented was in Egypt. Since then, we've worked with India, and in June I'll be heading to Cambodia, who adopted the criteria last November. And we'll be meeting as well with Laos and Myanmar there. Costa Rica has, through its certification program, also implemented the criteria. So we're excited. It's happening everywhere.
Well, I was going to ask you, what were you most pleased with this past 12 months? I gather that's part of it.
That is definitely part of it. The adoption that governments, both at a regional level and at a national level, have done to integrate the criteria into their national policies. Now, as you know, the criteria were designed for hotel and tour operators, but the need that arose from it extended beyond that. So countries are doing this. International agencies like the Inter-American Development Bank adopted and adapted the criteria for development. We're pleased to see we launched in March at the ITB the accreditation process, so the certification of the certifications, if you will. So we are working with our first certification, or actually with the standards that are going through the process, and we'll announce the first GSTC recognized standards in our annual meeting in June.
Well, I remember, of course, this thing's taken several years to get people to understand, number one. Number two, get over some of the, I would say, objections, which is it was initially one global set of criteria for hotels or tour operators or travel companies or whatever, whether you're in Cambodia, you're in Texas. But some of those objections were overcome because it was always a plan to eventually address the differences between the industry sectors and parts of the world.
That's correct. The two main issues that arose of putting the criteria together was, one, that it is a global nature and tourism is very local. So understanding that the criteria are just the base. So if you look at India, for example, they took the criteria, they used it to build their national policy, their national criteria. They adapted it. They brought in their own stakeholders. They did a similar process than what we did at a global level. They did it at a national level. And then at a very regional level, they're establishing their certification programs based on the GSTC criteria. So there's the different levels by which you take it from the global, which will make sense to you, me, and everywhere you travel. It will be the basic things that you want to see. And the second aspect of it is whether or not you can have a set of criteria for the entire sector. And that is difficult to do, but there is, out of the core criteria you can extract, I would say the majority that we've established are cross-cutting, but there are things that are particular to hotels and there are things that are particular to tour operators, and that's our main focus because that's where we started. But this year we're beginning with the destination criteria, and we're also starting conversations around transportation. So there is an intent to build around each of the individual subsectors.
So you will convene or have convened experts to address these different areas?
Yes, and we will, if you recall, the process that we followed is we bring in what we already know. So if we take the destination criteria, there are already several programs and certification addressing destinations. So we take that criteria that exists, then we put it through the experts, then it goes through a wider consultation. And if you may recall, for the first set of criteria, we reached out to over 80,000 constituencies. Now our network is even bigger than that, so we hope to have even more feedback into the process. And what we're doing with destinations, because of their characteristics, is we're actually piloting several different destinations before we launch the criteria. So once the theoretical part is over, we're then going to take it to the implementation and see is this applicable or not.
Is coming up in the future an education and engagement process with consumers?
Yes. So right now it's a business-to-business approach. If you look at other industries like the forestry, where you look at the work that the Forestry Stewardship Council has done or the Marine Stewardship Council, they've worked with companies to get through the process. And sustainability in general is like that. It wasn't until Walmart that Kimberly-Clark said, okay, well now if Walmart wants this from me, I have to do it. So tourism isn't very different in that sense. It's what the businesses demand, and so what we are doing is we help those that are promoting the products. So, Sabre and Travelocity have been since the beginning with us, and Amadeus, we're pleased to say, has just joined as well. We're working with them so that they can promote sustainable product, but then we're also working with the supply chain so that they know what it is to meet these criteria.
Because it would be helpful to have the global group, your group, not endorse, but at least be able to say, yep, India is legitimate set of criteria based on ours, rather than them going out. Is that
and that's what the consumer
engagement?
wants. So if you've seen the most recent LOHA study, the consumer doesn't want the country or the company to say it. They won't believe it. They will believe it if somebody else says it. And that's where organizations like ours or any of the certifications that work out there, when they say it, it gives the validity to the hotels. And when we say on top of that, actually they're certified by somebody that meets the criteria, then the consumer will be able to do it. And as you know, there are 127 or more certifications, so the consumer won't go.
They'll get confused.
So it'll do.
So Facebook and Twitter are perfect
We're
medium
right there.
for getting the word out and engaging,
Exactly.
isn't it? That's the engaging tool.
Exactly. We're right there. We just started a blog. The first posting went up yesterday. We're working Facebook, Twitter. We have updated mostly daily. We do new updates of what our members are doing, who's coming on board, what's happening in the industry. And then we are starting to work through LOHAS particularly, because you have to start somewhere, and the LOHAS group is really those that are making a difference, or their consumer behavior is kind of the leading one in these issues. So that's where we want to go and make sure that people know that they have better choices and that they can make them and that they can drive the change as well.